Hi, I'm your host Vasco Duarte. Welcome to the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, where we share tips and tricks from Scrum Masters around the world. Every day, we bring you inspiring answers to important questions that all Scrum Masters face day after day. Hello, everybody. Welcome to one more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. And this week, joining us from next to London in the UK is Madhuri Korapati. Hi, Madhuri. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you, everyone.
And of course, I apologize for murdering your name. I'm very productive at destroying the people's names pronunciation. Apologies for that.
You actually done better than many others.
So Madhuri is a self-motivated servant leader with 12 years of software industry experience across payments and banking sectors. She's a Scrum Master at Mastercard and enjoys helping teams in their agile transformation and showcasing their improvements. And of course, that's what we will be talking about today, the teams that we work with. And to get us started, Madhuri, tell us a little bit more about yourself and how did you end up becoming a Scrum Master?
So I started my IT career kind of 14 years ago. When I started in the IT, I started as a tester. And then I moved in different companies. I worked in the financial industry and moved into Vocalink, which is part of Mastercard. And I worked as a tester and then a test lead. And after that, I moved as a Scrum Master. So when there was an Agile transformation in our company, so truly speaking, at that time, I didn't know what Agile is. And it's just I'm hearing from here and there, and people were saying there were no roles for a lead. And I was a test lead at that time. So I started worrying about it, thinking, oh, what happens to me next? And truly speaking, that was the driver to think about other options. But I went into and I spoke with my management and spoke with the transformation leads. So I understood actually a bit more. And I understood that it doesn't mean like there is no role for a senior people. It's like the ways we need to mentor the people. I understood that, but at the same time, they given me this opportunity saying like some of my skills will help me to be a Scrum Master. They promised me they will coach me to be in a right direction. So in that way, I moved as a Scrum Master. And once I moved as a Scrum Master, first, truly speaking, I thought, okay, it's just like unblocking the teams. It's not a big role. Then I slowly started understanding like there is a bit complex part towards it, which is like coaching the teams, supporting them where needed, understanding different behaviors. Yeah, that took me a while to understand, nearly a year to understand the actual role of a Scrum Master. That is the main part is like coaching and then supporting the teams in their behavior part as well. So yeah, that took me a while. And at the same time, like slowly I understood myself, like there is a real importance of each and every team member within the role. Although we are not calling them a senior or a junior, it's like the more experienced people are valuable to support the juniors, to mentor them and then move them up in their career ladders. So it's like for each and every person, there is a value. That's what I understood in my career while I'm moving and then learning as a Scrum Master.
That's a great way to put it, right? Scrum Masters look for the value they can bring for each and every individual that they have in the team. And of course, as we get started in this process of learning, as you were just describing, and sometimes and very often, even when we are already quite experienced Scrum Masters, we face some moments of difficulty. And because today is Monday, Fail Monday here on the podcast, Madhuri, we want you to tell us one of those stories. Tell us a story of you as a Scrum Master and describe that moment of difficulty, that challenge that you faced. And then we'll talk about the conclusions and maybe what to do differently at the end. But tell us that story of failure, the story of you as a Scrum Master struggling to understand how to perform.
So as a Scrum Master or as any individual, when you reflect ourselves, or a daily or a weekly, whatever it is, we always feel like I should have done this better, or I should have done this in another way, which would have helped more. And sometimes you miserably feel like, oh, failed really bad. So this self-reflection always helps to improve. I may not be able to change what was happened, but at least help me in the future. So it's like with my mistakes, I have learned many things, many mistakes I done, which were like bit tough mistakes, which I shouldn't have done, and some of them like little things which I learned from it. So I want to share a couple of them. So one thing, like after a couple of years, I became a Scrum Master. I started understanding a bit more and more, and I moved into one of the team. They were not doing any Scrum or Agile, any way of things. So I went there and then to help them. But the whole team are so supportive. They want to move into Scrum and then help them. They need someone who help them to move into Scrum and then help them to unblock because they were failing to deliver. The main problem is visualization. There were many issues happening in the team. So they want to show that visualization. So I helped them. Everyone are so supportive. We moved in. We started visualizing the issues.
Can you share an example of what was one of the challenges and how you helped them visualize it?
So the challenge was they had some of the infrastructure issues. They were going and then saying we are facing issues, but no one are understanding what exactly the issue. And there were no place. They were showing the metrics, how much time they are losing because of it. So that was a real thing. And then as a whole team, they didn't get a support to show like kind of take the data and then show as a metric and then visualize what exactly amount of work they have, because there was a deadline, but no one realized how much of work they need to be done and what is the backlog they have. So visualizing all of that actually helped them. But apart from that, as a team, they're really good. There were some trust issues, but that's happened because of all the problems they were facing. And slowly they started understanding one another and we came as a team and we delivered, which was very good. And I was so happy and I thought, oh, I'd done well as a Scrum Master. And then I moved into another team and I want to apply similar issues they have, but I want to apply exactly the same thing. And then I thought like, okay, if I apply the same thing, it works in this team. And then, yes, I can turn this team quickly into a high performing team, which was the huge mistake, which I know now. Because I did go to the team and then I spoke with each and individual in the team. And then I have taken some notes from there. And after like a couple of days, I went to them and then said, yes, we need to change this. And I never realized it's like every team is different. For some teams, it takes time to open up and then share the real problems. When I spoke with them, I understood their problem is with their environments and then the infrastructure issues, which is not within the team. It's an outside of the team. So I thought when I go and speak with the external teams and then support those ones and the team will be fine. And again, like showing all these issues to the higher management will help them to exactly come up with a plan where they can deliver actually rather than struggling. But one thing I missed was there is an internal conflict within the teams, which I didn't realize. No one was shared with me because they were not trusting me. I was just completely external coming into them and then asking them questions. No one want to share. So I felt really bad and then I done everything. Still, we are not delivering on time and team are committing to some dates are like every sprint goal, we are missing it. And I was keep thinking what I was doing wrong. Then it took me like a while to understand it's actually there is a conflict within the team, which I never realized. And I was only concentrating on what I'd been told at the beginning by the team or the higher management. Real problems, I never observed it. So that I felt like a really big failure. And I learned from there, every team is different and one solution never fit everything. Once we go into any team, spend some time, understand the team, and then try to build a relationship with the team so that they start trusting you and feel like you're the person they can come and then help, like share their experience or like their problems so that the person can help them. So once you build that one, the real issues will come up, and then keep observing like each and every moment, how they're behaving in the retrospective, how they are behaving in the stand up. So that will help. That gives some clues. There are some non-verbal clues sometimes. So I started observing all of them now. That's I learned from the experience I had.
Yeah, absolutely. And two things that come to mind. So the first, the one that you already mentioned, which is the idea that one solution fits all. Of course, that's not the case. And you just showed a very illustrative example of that, right? So we start with a mindset and we want to help because something has worked in the past. And then also because we have that tool, we apply it and forget to look at other things that are going on. And that's the second aspect. You said that you focused on what the team and the manager had told you, but then it took you a while to discover that actually things were not as you were told, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I often tell the Scrum Masters that I work with is that people will tell you what's going on, but they will never tell you everything that is going on. Right. And I think you illustrated that it took some time for you to understand the dynamic of that conflict. And the team wasn't even voluntarily sharing that conflict because they were, of course, perhaps feeling uncomfortable and even maybe ashamed or afraid of sharing that. As you look to the future, Madhuri, as you look at, future teams you're going to work with that may have this situation of this hidden conflict, what are the things that you have changed in your way of working as a Scrum Master to allow the teams to eventually share those conflicts that they are not sure about with you?
Okay, so mostly like with the experience I have, what I understood, first any team I go, it's like first need to understand the team and understand their process and the reason behind why they are doing the things in a certain way. Because there might be some things with my eyes, I see, oh, that's wrong. And then I quickly get this feeling like, oh, quickly change it. Rather than that, wait and understand why they are doing it. What is the reason behind it? There might be a real reason we must do in that way. There might be a reason, there might be some problems we need to solve before we change. So that observation is one thing. And then listen to the team. That is other important thing. They might be come up with, and they're frustrated because once we go, we are changing and people think, oh, there is other change. There is nothing really changing in the back end with what they are facing. So listen actually to the team and try to understand their problems fast and get their buy-in. If you want to do any changes, just don't do yourself. Involve the teams. Explain them why we want to do in the way you want. And then do as an experiment, actually. Don't say like, this is the stepping stone. Okay, we'll try as an experiment. Let's see. If it's not working, we'll change.
Absolutely.
So in that way, so this is what I learned and this is what I feel like will help me or help everyone.
A great story and also a lot of great tips there. Thank you very much for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Monday is about what we learn from our obstacles and our failures. But tomorrow is Team Tuesday here on the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. We explore teams and their journeys, the habits they develop that threaten their performance, how each of our guests help their teams evolve, and the one key lesson they learned from that experience. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.